Tiger, and I'm your Student Body Secretary of Interior. Some of you may know me as a really big advocate for mental health, so today I am here in an interview with Jody Carroll.
Hi, so Jody Carroll, I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I direct the counseling center here at University of the Cumberlands. And I'm stretching really far back to be socially distanced because I don't think I will do well with trying to do the interview with a mask on. So hopefully we can do that. So we have one other full-time licensed staff member, a licensed professional clinical counselor, Amy Hatcher, and two additional licensed professional clinical counselors, Steve Halstead and Derek Stewart, who are both part-time. In addition to that, part of our staffing is student interns who are participating in the master's program for clinical counseling here at University of the Cumberlands. And when they've done the majority of their coursework and they're at the tail end of that, they have practicum and internship that they need to complete. And we're a host location for that. So part of our staff are also interns who are hand-selected and closely supervised and almost ready to be licensed themselves and out in the real world, so to speak. But we have a large selection of staff, so something that we do with that is try to work very hard to find someone who is compatible for each person.
Most definitely, yeah. I know sometimes it's a whole big process of trying to find a counselor that works for you and vice versa, and just melding well with someone that you're talking to about really personal situations. So I think that's awesome that you guys have a wide array of counselors and grad students here.
Yep, and they're all wonderful.
I bet. So what kind of things do the counseling center offer in terms of services that you may have and price points if there is one?
Oh, I love the price point. It's a big fat zero. And I mean zero in every sense of the word. We don't collect money at the time someone comes for an appointment. We don't ask for money. We don't bill insurance, so there's no copay that you have to pay at the time of your appointment or later. We just don't bill insurance. We also don't have some kind of a fee that's going to show up on your student account later. So it's free in every sense of the word, except that students are of course paying for that by virtue of just being a student and paying your bills here, your tuition and your fees and whatnot. So may as well take advantage of it, right?
Oh, most definitely.
One of the reasons we have it like that, so there's no insurance trail or anything that shows up on a student account, is sometimes people do want to keep that information private from even parents or someone who might be seeing their student account, and so they're very much able to do that.
So confidentiality is super important with you guys about just if a family member doesn't really want to know and all that good kind of stuff.
Exactly. Even if confidentiality is very important, we're a medical service, so we follow HIPAA guidelines. And even if someone else on campus, wants to know something about whether a student, we call them clients, a client has, showed up for an appointment or is coming to counseling at all, we can't provide them that information unless the student, the client, has signed a document called a release of information. It's a very simple form saying that we can, speak to their coach or Keely Peterson and who helps with student accommodations, or just whoever that person might be, faculty member, even a friend. It's up to each student, but we do have to have their signed permission to do that.
Awesome. So as some of you guys may know, it is September, which is Suicide Awareness Month, so that's a big topic that we're going to be talking about today. So could you tell me a little bit about different ways that students on campus can promote suicide awareness?
Yeah, absolutely. So from a mental health perspective, the most important thing any citizen can do to promote mental health awareness is have some of your own skills or abilities to address it if it comes up. So you may have noticed in emails that we have offered some suicide training, suicide prevention trainings lately. QPR, or Question, Persuade, Refer. We offered one session of that recently, and it was sent out with short notice, but we had a great turnout, so we were real happy with that. Another one is Youth Mental Health First Aid, or YMHFA. And so it's a set of skills that specifically focuses on those who are 18 and younger, but definitely still some relevance to college students.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are interested in that because they either have, kids in their family, relatives, or they want to work with kids. So we have gotten a tremendous response from that. When we sent out an email announcement of it, we were prepared to take 20 students.
Mm-hmm.
But we just sent it out and see what happens. And so now we need to schedule, we're in communication with the people who responded to the email to schedule several more events, because we're very close to 200 respondents.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I know. It's like, I feel like Rocky at the top of the steps. Dun, dun. So we have a lot of people on our campus, obviously, who care about suicide and want to learn something that they can do on that individual level if that need ever arises, and there they are talking to someone about it. So it's a real important way to spread awareness and participate in prevention and that kind of thing. Another thing that goes along with suicide awareness is a new club.
Mm-hmm.
We've been working on the club for some time now, and COVID and different things kind of made it take a little longer than anyone would ever hope.
Mm-hmm.
But the club is called the Hidden Opponent, okay? And it's part of so it'll be like a branch of a national organization by the same name, the Hidden Opponent. This is student initiated. A couple of students who brought this to my attention and some others across campus, and the organization is just that. They promote awareness, education, and prevention as it relates to suicide and mental health in general, specific to college students.
Mm-hmm.
And so they encourage activities and all kinds of things surrounding that. So we don't have anything planned yet. We just turned in our constitution as a club for approval, and hopefully we're just days away from that. There will be an interest meeting for people who would like to be members, and that's next Friday night at 6:30. It'll be in the BCC. I don't know which room yet. We don't have that lined out. But next Friday night, I guess that's
I believe that's October 1st or 2nd.
October 1st, you are right. Thank you. So I hope we get a great turnout for that. It'll be promoted on social media over the next few days and that kind of thing. But some sidewalk days where you might see chalk, certain messages written on the sidewalk by the Hidden Opponent Club. Hosting movie nights, movies that have a mental health or suicide prevention topic as a part of it, and then a discussion afterwards, are just a couple of examples of the many activities that the group hopes to host. And students who want to be a member would have a voice in those activities.
I love that. I would definitely be interested in doing that, so you will definitely be seeing me there next
We'll
Friday.
be looking for you.
So that would be awesome. I've heard a little bit about it, and I think it's a super interesting club. Was it originally a book of some form? Or?
The Hidden Opponent?
Mm-hmm.
I am not sure. I don't know. There may be a book by that name. I wish I knew the answer to that. I can tell you that the whole idea of the Hidden Opponent, the students who founded the organization originally and still serve as CEO and some of the other officers within the national organization were student athletes at the collegiate level. And so, as athletes, you're always focused on your team's current opponent and next opponent, and this mental health issues and the risk of suicide are also an opponent and kind of lurk under the surface.
Definitely. That's a great point to hit on. Is there anything you'd like to touch up on the stigma around suicide?
Oh, wow. I could
Talk
I
about
could
it
go on
forever.
forever about that. It's really sad, it just is a terrible stigma that's so prevalent, and just to me that makes absolutely no sense. It's the opposite of helpful or productive, but unfortunately it's there. So being involved in an organization like the Hidden Opponent is exactly targeting that. So being a member, if that interests students, or even just coming to the events that you'll eventually see advertised and hosted by the Hidden Opponent Club here at UC, would be a great way to start to decrease the stigma. being a person who never participates in a joke or saying something that, you know, reinforces or perpetuates stigma. Like, you'll never hear me use the word crazy unless I'm talking about a day or a thing, never a person. Like, you know, we all have crazy days. But that's a really harsh word that has been misused for so long, that is very hurtful. So just being a person who never does that, or never laughs at or repeats a joke that is a negative reflection on mental health. So those are things that people can do as well.
Definitely. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about? Anything with the services that the Counseling Center offers, or just a general knowing that you think the students on campus should know about?
So carrying the theme of stigma just a little bit further, be patient with someone, listen. If the individual actually seems to be struggling with something of a mental health nature, you don't know until you listen for a little while whether that might involve, you know, suicidal thoughts. Usually that's not the first thing they say, you know. If suicide risk does come up in any way, take all of that seriously. There's a myth that people say that just for attention, and yes, that does happen, but it's very rare compared to the times when it's said and it's an accurate expression of what that person's feeling and that they need assistance. Try to be non-judgmental. Again, going back to that impact of stigma. If a person thinks, you know, I'm going to try to talk to you about these hurtful thoughts I'm having, and so they start that, and if you were to say something kind of judgmental, it's going to really shut that down. They're very unlikely to finish that next thought and perhaps end up not telling you the thing that would have given you a clue that you know they need help.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So be non-judgmental, be approachable. You know, if you're, you know, kind of all over the place or loud or opinionated or saying some cliche, like it's the response to and solution to everything. Oh, it'll all be okay, or just go do some relaxation.
Just smile, be happy.
Yeah, go take a nap. You know, offering quick solutions, and not just those silly ones that we mentioned just now. But, you know, that can also turn the person in the opposite direction. So listening and patience are real important. Related to our services, so we are located behind Carell Science Center in a one-story brick that looks like a house because it kind of used to be. We're right beside the football offices, and their building's name is Browning Annex. So that's where we're located. You can email us at counseling center, no dots, no anything, just counselingcenter@ucumberlands.edu, and it's the best way to inquire about services if someone's interested in like their first appointment. We respond with some detailed information about how to get that set up, and then what we need from the person to start choosing a time that works for us and for them. So we offer, you know, traditional one-on-one mental health services. That's what we get the most requests for. So that's primarily what we do. But we're also involved in, you know, suicide prevention trainings and other kinds of like outreach on campus. We're hoping to start a series of outreach like groups that people could come to. People who attend would not necessarily need to be a client of our services, so just anyone could attend. And a topic one week might be grief or dealing with loss. The next week it might be related to study habits, test anxiety, mindfulness, progressive muscle relaxation. So these are some of the topics that we've considered and that some of our sister centers on other campuses are offering and seem to be accepted, you know, and well attended by students. So we hope to get those promoted in coming weeks as well. So
that sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for meeting with me today and answering a few of my questions that I've had for you.
You're very welcome. My goodness, thank you for taking some time to be interested in mental health and something that we know is really important.
Of course, thank you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys got some interesting facts from this video, and if you are interested in the counseling services, the email counselingcenter@ucumberlands.edu, so make sure to check that out if you are interested in counseling services. Thank you.